Welcome to this presentation, which has been developed by Overeaters Anonymous Great Britain, OAGB. We will be looking at the topics as shown on the screen now. We want you to know that there is a solution for compulsive eaters. It is Overeaters Anonymous. It follows the 12-step recovery programme and is modelled on Alcoholics Anonymous's 12 steps. People are given peer-to-peer support in the many meetings available and by sponsors who guide each compulsive eater through the 12 steps. At meetings, compulsive eaters can talk freely about how their food obsession affects their lives. They are guaranteed the gift of anonymity within any OA setting. There are separate study workshops or single topic events to supplement the standard meetings. OA is run by members who hold meetings for fellow compulsive eaters. During the pandemic, we have seen how much stress has been placed on frontline services. If you signpost your patients to us, they may well find the help and support they need to reduce their compulsive eating behaviours. We understand the physical, psychological and spiritual nature of this illness. This 12-step programme is a complement to NHS Services. You and your patients will know that they are in safe hands. Compulsive eating is a serious disorder which affects the physical, emotional and spiritual well-being. As compulsive eaters, we have to admit that we are not like normal people when it comes to food and food behaviours. Normal eaters get full and lose interest. Compulsive eaters have an addictive reaction to some foods, possibly chemical or behavioural. Compulsive eaters have an unhealthy relationship with food, unlike normal eaters. Some of us overindulge, can't quit, and then crave more. Others indulge in the illusion of control by restricting their food. Some of us purge or excessively exercise after eating to control our weight. Our minds and bodies seem to send us abnormal signals about food that cause us to act differently from the normal eater. Compulsive eating is an illness that cannot be controlled by willpower. Compulsive eating is a debilitating, progressive and ultimately fatal condition. The available published data suggests that as many as 64% of the adult population is either obese or overweight. A UK study found that 52% of participants classified themselves as food addicts. The pandemic has had a marked effect on eating disorders. The biggest UK eating disorder charity, Beat, reported that their contacts were up 400%, from 3,000 in March 2020 to 12,000 1 year later. For many, eating is a form of control, a coping mechanism tied to stress. Food scarcity and stockpiling behaviour can trigger anxieties about eating or overeating. Eating disorders are highly isolating, and social isolation only exacerbates this problem. Overeaters Anonymous are available to help anyone along the weight spectrum to recover from their problem of compulsive eating. For those already diagnosed with an eating disorder in the UK, 90% experienced a worsening of their symptoms after the pandemic hit. For those with more complex or common binge eating disorders, nearly a third reported an increase in episodes. Eating disorders have the second highest mortality rate of any psychiatric diagnosis, outranked only by opioid use disorder. The OA model of recovery and support can be compatible with not only what the NHS is currently providing, but what the NHS is aiming to provide in the future. We know from the Health and Care Bill that is currently going through Parliament that the government is keen for local providers to work together in a more integrated way. There is a push for clinicians and commissioners to look beyond traditional providers of care services and work with the voluntary sector and other community providers to offer an holistic care to their patients. Local AA meetings are consistent with this concept and can sit alongside more medically based interventions led by local healthcare professionals. The NHS long-term plan has a key focus on obesity. It has placed significant resources into reducing obesity rates in adults. We know that there is a relationship between obesity and other avoidable conditions. OA has a long history of supporting individuals not only to lose weight, but to maintain their weight loss. Mental health services are widely recognised as needing further investment. Waiting times are long and many intervention providers struggle to meet demand. We know that mental health and physical health walk side by side and directly impact upon each other. OA addresses both the physical and mental aspects in its approach to recovery. Screening for food addictions can be as simple as gaining consent to ask the patient some questions around compulsive eating, such as, do you experience preoccupation with eating or resisting food? Do you ever feel guilty after overeating? And do you ever have difficulty controlling your eating or difficulty stopping once you have started? Or you can refer your patient to discover for themselves via OA's 15 questions. There is a link on the slide above, the blue hyperlink, and this is also available to download, to print off, to send or hand to your patients. They're also available from the OAGB website. There are additional validated food addiction screening tools available in the further reading section at the end of this presentation. There is a lot of stigma, shame and guilt behind compulsive eating. Many of us eat in isolation and secretively. If you, as a practitioner, ask the questions we have suggested, you might find that your patients become more honest and open. Do not be surprised if you hear patients mentioning some of the common thoughts that are listed on screen now. These are typical of somebody suffering from food addiction and compulsive food behaviours. We are no different from other addicts. We too are suffering from a disease of the mind. This does not discriminate against age, gender, faith, religion, and as we've mentioned, it does not even discriminate against weight. Anybody could be having some of these debilitating thoughts. You may not have heard about us before today, but we are here and have been since 1960. We have helped many thousands of people. We are Overeaters Anonymous. Let me tell you a little more about us and our members, whom we call fellows. There are OA groups in over 75 countries, meeting in person, by telephone and on the internet every day. You can find the hyperlink for local meetings around the world at the end of this presentation on the link section. Otherwise, you can go to https://oa.org/find-a-meeting, and this will give you the meetings not only in your area but around the world. OA's 60-year history has shown that it is possible to recover from the disease of compulsive eating, one day at a time. We invite anyone interested to join us to find the freedom that many of our members have discovered over the years. OA has one primary purpose. We want to help people abstain from compulsive eating and compulsive food behaviours. We want to carry the message of recovery through the 12-step recovery model. OA is not a diet club. We do not provide members with diet plans. We do not prescribe or endorse any particular meal plans, calorie counting, or goal weights. This is not our focus, and this is where we differ from commercial diet clubs. There are no weighing scales in OA. Many of our members have exhausted the traditional commercialised weight management programmes with limited success. Commercial diet regimes can sanction foods that some people find addictive. This means individuals' ability to control and limit what they eat often diminishes over time. Another contrasting difference to diet clubs is the fact that we are free. We do not charge you for referring, and we do not charge anyone for attending. We manage our own contributions. All are welcome, even if they cannot contribute financially. As our primary purpose states, to carry the message of OA to those who still suffer. It does not say carry the message of OA to those who can afford it. OA serves those who have lost control over their eating, and anyone who believes that they are a compulsive eater is welcome in OA. We count ourselves amongst those who, even if we seem to have a healthy size and shape, have struggled with weight. In fact, we are typically obsessed with that number on the scale, using it to define our worth. Some of us weighing ourselves many times a day. Disordered eaters of every variety, eating to excess, in secret, fasting and purging, exercising excessively in order to compensate. Obsessed with body image, restrict to the point of anorexia, or stuff to the point of significant or even morbid obesity. Food has become an obsession of the mind and destructive to our bodies. It impacts the compulsive eater, their friends and family, and it has a substantial effect on our communities and the NHS. Anyone who attends an OA event is guaranteed anonymity. We do not use last names or any other way of identifying members. The OA members have the right to make their membership known outside our community. Members' details are never given to other organisations. We maintain anonymity with the press and all media. OA fellows never permit the use of their image, last names, or any other data which would identify them. In OA, whatever a member shares remains confidential and private, just as you with your patients. What you hear here, whom you see here, when you leave here, let it stay here. This OA programme has parts which relate directly to the 12 steps. Awareness. Awareness that the OA has helped thousands of people who identify as being food addicts. Going through the programme, newcomers become aware of how compulsive eating has negatively impacted their lives. They will become aware of the feelings and emotions that contribute to compulsive eating. Acceptance. Members will learn to accept that they may need to abstain from some non-nutritive foods. They will learn to accept a new way of dealing with emotions rather than eating on them. They will learn to accept their body image and appearance and begin to love themselves once more. Action. Members need to get active about their programme in order to sustain their recovery. They need to use the 9 tools of OA, which are action planning, a plan of eating, attending meetings, sponsorship, telephone, anonymity, writing, literature and service. Everyone attending an OA meeting is committed to their own abstinence. They are working the programme to the best of their ability. They are willing to share their recovery with other members of the fellowship. More experienced members often provide support and guidance, much like a mentor. In OA, these members are often called sponsors or partners in recovery. They do not provide professional services or advice, but they do serve as a partner for the member to help them achieve their abstinence and understand each of the steps. It is up to the sponsee to choose their sponsor. Members may work with more than one partner in recovery and may change at will. Sponsors go beyond being a supportive friend. They are truly a gift. Meetings are run by compulsive eaters for compulsive eaters. People share their experience, strength and hope in an open and safe space. There are many meeting types: virtual, via Zoom, telephone, conference calls, face-to-face, hybrid, podcast and radio channels. Many meetings are available in other languages. Some meetings are closed to non-compulsive eaters, but many are open, and interested parties such as healthcare professionals are most welcome to join us and find out in person what it's all about. Thanks to the variety of ways in being able to hold meetings, your patients could find a meeting any time of the day or night online. We also have special focus groups, such as those needing to lose or have already lost more than £100. There are meetings for those wanting to hear the message as it relates to anorexia or bulimia, or those who have had bariatric surgery and still battle with their mental obsession around food. Like many psychological therapies, we apply 9 tools to help us tackle our compulsive behaviours. I can't stress this enough because it is the key to helping compulsive eaters recover. So what are the 9 tools? They are listed on your screen now. I would like to talk a little about each one and how they help compulsive eaters. A plan of eating. This helps us deal with the physical aspects of our disease, avoid triggers and any destructive eating behaviours so that we may achieve physical recovery. We sometimes share these with our sponsor. Sponsorship partners in recovery. A sponsor is somebody who has already gained experience and selfishly passes this on to a new member. We ask a sponsor or partner in recovery to help us through our programme of recovery and all 3 levels: physical, emotional and spiritual. Meetings give us an opportunity to talk or identify our common problems. Through this peer-to-peer support, we have discovered we need each other to get well. Telephone. Many members call, text or email OA members daily. Such contact provides an immediate outlet for difficult times that we may experience. Writing. Putting our thoughts and feelings down onto paper helps us better understand our actions and reactions in a way that is often not revealed to us by simply thinking or talking about them. Literature. We read OA-approved booklets, pamphlets and Lifeline magazine. Daily reading reinforces actions that we need to take to keep our recovery. Action plan. Many of us have led hectic, uncontrollable lives before coming to OA. A daily action plan brings structure, balance and manageability into our lives. Anonymity gives OA members freedom of expression and safeguards us from gossip. Service. Any form of service that helps a member add to the quality of their own recovery whilst enforcing self-worth and confidence. OAGB is currently collaborating with NICE and with the review of the obesity guidance to raise awareness of OA to healthcare professionals such as yourselves. So in summary, OA can support the patient that you suspect has addictive food behaviours or compulsive food behaviours. We are fully self-supporting and independent. We help all people who consider themselves to have difficulties with food. We are not a typical weight loss club. No diets, no scales, no fees. From your signposting, patients will find us online. Also available with this presentation are the 15 questions to help patients decide if OA is for them, posters for your waiting rooms, a leaflet for you to print and pass to your patients. Together, we get better. Public Health England, PHE, knows the value of the 12-step groups and have worked hard to bridge the gap between 12-step groups and healthcare professionals. It has made manuals available to practitioners in order to facilitate service user engagement into 12-step programmes. In the UK, this is also known as mutual aid or 12-step facilitation. The document on the left-hand side of your screen, provided by PHE, is to bridge the gap between healthcare professionals and mutual aid groups. PHE has a very clear flowchart, as shown on the right side of the screen, that will help you to facilitate a patient's involvement in OA through motivational interviewing and signposting to the 12-step programme. So in summary, during this presentation we have considered the obesity statistics for the UK, outlined who Overeaters Anonymous are and what their principles are, and the benefits of working collaboratively with OAGB. We have provided links to the supporting documents and reference materials and further reading in the reference section towards the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time. If you would like to look more closely at the steps, traditions and meetings that OA provides, there is a hyperlink for you to reach our website. If you hold down the control key and click on the blue wording, you will be taken straight to OAGB's website. If you have questions, the other hyperlink will open up a link in your email so that you can email us directly. We are happy for you to forward this PowerPoint, notes and any associated documents to your colleagues and patients. On screen, you have the links for the supporting documentation for this presentation. On screen now are the references and further reading. Everything is hyperlinked, so again you just need to hold down your control key and click on any of the blue hyperlinked wording and it will take you to all the sources used to provide this presentation.